Can you guys believe that I've never had a slingshot before? I just picked this thing up a couple days ago and it is freaking awesome. I'm starting to get pretty good with it too. I got this big bag of BBs. Some of them are small, they came with it, and then the big ones I bought separate. This is just a cheap one, but if you pull back on it far enough, these things could do some serious damage. I wonder how far it can go. I'm gonna try and hit that tree out there. No problem. I'm gonna try and go for the deer decoy that's out there by that tree. I don't know if you guys can see that, but out there by that second tree, there's a deer by a trail cam. It went past it, but not even close to hitting it. Ooh, close. Ah, right at the base of the tree, right in front of that deer. There's really no way to aim it, which kind of sucks. I mean, I might be doing it wrong. If any of you guys are slingshot experts, let me know in the comments, but I just kind of have to guess where I'm going, and I'm actually getting pretty close with it, but I wish that it had some way to aim it. I hit the deer. Nice. I wonder if it can make it all the way to the wood line. That's, I would say, probably 80 yards away. So I'm just gonna launch one up and see if it makes it. Oh yeah, it probably went twice as far as the edge of those woods. These bugs are insane today. You should see my microphone. They are just living in that thing. I bet that sounded good. I'm covered in bug spray, and out here in the woods, it doesn't really matter. Jeez. Man. I bet these things could go 200 yards. This is a $3 slingshot too. Let's see if it can make it through this full can of pop. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Whew. That was close. Ooh, just skimmed right over the top of it. So that was barely even a hit. It looks like it just skimmed right along the side of it. So if we would have hit it dead on, it probably would have exploded it a little bit better, but I definitely think it would have made it all the way through that. That thing is pretty fun. But we're not here to shoot slingshots today, so let's go ahead and start today's video. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for watching. Today, we're gonna do a comparison with the 9mm Federal Premium HST. Now, if you've watched my other videos, you probably know that the HST is basically the gold standard for hollow points, at least in 9mm. They always work really well, and they always perform exactly how they're supposed to. And there is, as far as I know, 4 different bullet weights of Federal Premium HST in 9mm, and today I have all 4 of those out here. One of these I've never tested on the channel. The other 3 I've tested dozens of times probably. But what I want to do is a comparison with these 4 different HSTs and kind of show you guys what the differences are and how they perform so that you can get an idea of which one you might want to use in your gun. So the gel block we're going to use for this is my 20% Clear Ballistics gel block. I do have 2 of them out here today, just in case some of these go through the first block. That one back there obviously is an older gel block, but it will do the job. So let's get this ammo out and get started with the test. Now I forgot to mention it, but I went ahead and put the FBI heavy clothing kit on the front of our gel block down there, and man, these bugs are insane. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but we're just in a huge cloud of them. The sky just got pitch black, so I'm hoping that the rain holds off at least until I'm done with the video. If it don't, I'll just have to pause and resume another day. But I kind of debated on which gun to use today, and I went ahead and picked the small Glock 43. I couldn't decide between this or the Glock 17, but I figured that most people will probably carry something closer to this than a full-size Glock 17. So we're gonna be using the Glock 43 today, and I think I'm gonna start with the ones that I think will penetrate furthest and then work our way down so that I can try to avoid hitting bullets inside the gel block, which, as you guys know, I tend to do quite a bit. So the first one we're going to test is actually one that I've never tested on the channel, and I've been getting requests for this for quite a while. So this one is the 150 grain Federal Premium HST Micro, and I believe that this one is advertised for smaller pistols like the Glock 43 and it's supposed to do well in these smaller guns. So let's go ahead and start with the 150 grain micro and see how it does. And here's our entrance hole from the 150 grain HST micro. And you can see that wound cavity there. It's actually a bigger wound cavity than what I'm used to seeing with the HSTs. Like I said, this is my first time testing this bullet, so maybe it's just a unique thing to this one. And the bullet continued down the gel block, kind of curved up, and came to a stop right there, just towards the very end of our first gel block. And it definitely expanded, and looks like it performed really well. And the 150 grain HST micro looks like it stopped at about 15 inches into our ballistics gel block. So you guys know that I'll pull these bullets out when we're done so that we can take a closer look at them. But so far, the 150 grain HST micro looks like it did pretty well. Like I said, we're gonna start with the ones that I think are gonna penetrate the furthest, and usually the heavier, slower bullets tend to penetrate further. So next, we're gonna shoot the 147 grain Federal Premium HST and see how it does. All right, our 147 grain went in right above the 150 grain micro that we shot. And how about that for a comparison? They're right on top of each other. So the 147 grain definitely has a smaller wound cavity. Not that that means anything, just pointing it out to you guys. And the bullet continued down the gel block and stopped in the exact same place as the 150 grain. Now, it does look like it expanded a little bit more. Like I said, we will take these out when we're done and see what that looks like. But from here, it looks like it did expand just a little bit more. And we know that this one also stopped at exactly 15 inches in our ballistics gel block. I just had a bug fly up my nose. Man, this is crazy, crazy. I have never seen this many bugs in my entire life. All right, moving right along. Next, we're gonna test the 124 grain Federal Premium HST. And this is one of my favorites. I've tested this one so many times, I can't even count, and it always seems to do really well. So let's see how it does. So that 124 grain looks like it might have gotten clogged by the heavy clothing kit, which I've never had happen to that bullet, but it's so high in the gel block and it kind of skidded across the top and then left out the top of the gel block. So I'm gonna shoot it again just to give it a fair shake, and we'll see how it does. And that one hit our 150 grain micro at the end of the gel block. So I'm gonna shoot it again. Now this is getting more penetration than what I'm used to seeing from this, so I'm kind of surprised, to be honest with you. All right, that was a little bit lower. Hopefully it didn't hit anything. All right, so there's our first 124 grain HST along the top of the gel block there, and you can see that it exited through the top of that second gel block. Now, the second 124 grain went in the exact same wound cavity as the HST micro, and unfortunately, it hit the HST micro inside the gel block. So it looks like it just hit the back of the bullet, and hopefully we'll still be able to see how that micro expanded. I guess we'll find out when we take them out of the gel block. Now, the third one that I shot went in right there. I aimed a lot lower, and as you can see, it went all the way through our first gel block, and this is the first one we've had make it into the second ballistics gel block. Now, it does look like it expanded really well, and nothing abnormal there, but it just penetrated quite a bit further than what I'm used to seeing from this bullet. And it looks like it came to a stop at about 17 inches into our ballistics gel. So like I said, kind of surprising for the 124 grain. I've tested that one quite a bit, and even out of the smaller pistols, it usually doesn't leave the first ballistics gel block. So kind of a surprising result for the 124 grain HST. All right, last but not least, we got the 124 grain plus P HST. So this one should stop a little bit shorter than the others because it does have that extra velocity, but I guess you never know. Let's find out. Way more recoil than all the others. All right, so there's 5 or 6 holes on that denim, so it's kind of hard to tell which one is the plus P. And same thing with the gel block. There's just too many wound cavities for me to really tell. But our bullet continued down the gel block and came to a stop right there. And it looks like it's about halfway into the second gel block and halfway into the first gel block. So it does look like it expanded really well actually. And I guess we'll go ahead and give this one 16.5 inches since it is halfway into that second gel block. But once again, a little bit more penetration than I'm used to seeing from the 124 grain plus P. So let's go take these bullets out of the gel block and take a closer look at them. All right, I got the bullets out of the gel and they're in the order that I shot them in. So we have the 150 grain micro, the 147 grain, the 124 grain, and the 124 grain plus P. And if I can get down low here, you can see that as we went to the lighter weight bullets, they definitely expanded and flattened out more, which is what you would expect. And that's kind of why I shot them in the order that I did. I was hoping that they would get less penetration and we wouldn't have any collisions, but obviously that didn't work out. But all 4 of these bullets did really well. Obviously the 150 grain got the least amount of expansion, which again is what you would expect. And then the 147 grain opened up quite a bit more, 124 grain even more, and you can see that there's actually still some of that clothing in the cavity of that hollow point. And then the 124 grain plus P expanded the most out of the 4, but all 4 of these bullets did really well. Well, that is going to conclude our test for today, guys. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you learned something today. Actually, I think I learned something today because the 124 grain and the 124 grain plus P both surprised me. I just had a bug fly down my throat. I'm not even kidding. Oh, man. Now there's a giant hornet flying around me. Man, you know the bugs are bad when one flies down your throat while you're trying to talk. That sucked. The 124 grain and the 124 grain plus P both surprised me. So it could have been that the clothing clogged the cavity of the hollow points, or what I think it was is that they're just made for longer barrel pistols. And obviously the Glock 43 has a much shorter barrel. So it's all personal preference really, which one you prefer. Like I said, there's not a wrong decision here. All 4 of these are really good bullets and they always perform really well. I think that my new favorite is probably the 150 grain HST micro, at least out of the small like Glock 43 size pistols. I really like that 150 grain micro, and I like the way that it performs. So yeah, out of the bunch, that's probably my favorite, I would have to say. So let me know in the comments which one was your favorite and which one you prefer, and we can continue the conversation down there. But if you would like to help support the channel, I will put a link to my Patreon in the description box below. I'm sure you guys know how YouTube is with gun channels, so any little bit would help and help me continue to keep making videos like this, and hopefully one day much better videos. And yeah, I just have a feeling that they're probably not going to acknowledge me anytime soon. So I really appreciate the support from all you guys, and I see your guys' comments, and it really means a lot to me, and I really appreciate it. If you're new here and haven't subscribed yet, please do so. I would really appreciate that. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up for me. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.